I still remember the morning after Christmas, the one that changed something soft inside me. Not because of the gifts. Not because of the snow. But because of the silence. You know, people think revenge starts with anger. That's not true. Sometimes, revenge begins with an empty chair at the table, or a phone that doesn't ring, or a quiet house where your family should be, but isn't. That year, I had worked harder than ever. I had taken extra shifts, accepted more clients, and pushed myself until even the nights felt shorter. My goal was simple: I wanted to give my family a Christmas they'd never forget. I'm not married. I don't have kids. But I do have a family: my parents, my brother, my sister. We don't always see eye to eye, but I always believed we had love somewhere underneath everything. So I bought them gifts. Not cheap ones. Not rushed ones. Each present was chosen with care. For my father, I bought a premium tool set, knowing he always wanted to fix things around the house. For my mother, a fine necklace, something she had admired the previous summer but said was too expensive. For my sister, a tablet she needed for her art. And for my brother, noise-canceling headphones from the brand he always talked about. It felt good. It felt right. And after wrapping each gift, I felt proud. But when Christmas morning came, they didn't feel the same. They opened the presents without excitement. Without gratitude. Without even a proper thank you. Just silence. A cold, heavy silence that wrapped itself around the room like fog. Later that day, they left the house to visit my uncle, without me. Not on purpose, they said. But it felt purposeful. That evening, I realized something. I had spent my whole life trying to make them proud. Trying to be someone they valued. Trying to earn the warmth that should have come naturally. They gave me silence. So I decided I would give them a lesson. A quiet one. A patient one. A final one. I grew up in a quiet suburb in Ohio, in one of those neighborhoods where every lawn looks the same and every driveway has a basketball hoop, even if no one plays anymore. My family was simple, hard-working, and disciplined. But affection? That was something we rarely practiced. My father, Michael, believed in showing love through responsibilities. If he let you do something for the house, that meant he trusted you. My mother, Linda, loved in her own way, but she wasn't expressive. She cooked, cleaned, and organized everything, everyone, but emotions? Those were left untouched. My younger siblings, Emily and Jack, grew up differently from me. By the time they were old enough, our parents had softened. They got the warm words, the extra praise, the small freedoms I never received. And I won't lie, I envied them sometimes. Not because they were spoiled, but because they were seen. Still, I loved them deeply. I always tried to be the responsible, reliable one. The one they could call when they needed something. The one who showed up, even when no one else did. Maybe that's why I worked so hard once I became an adult. I wanted to be someone worthy of their appreciation. Years passed. I built a stable life. A good job. A decent apartment. And whenever I made something of myself, I ran back to them with news, hoping for approval. But they were always distant. Not unkind. Just distant. So when Christmas approached that year, I thought maybe, just maybe, thoughtfulness could bridge the gap. Maybe gifts could say everything they never said out loud. I spent weeks planning. Hours comparing. Even longer wrapping. I pictured their smiles, their warmth, their sincerity. But Christmas morning proved something I had ignored for years. My expectations were mine alone. My love was mine alone. My effort, mine alone. And they had stopped noticing. That silence at the table wasn't just about gifts. It was a summary of years. A quiet message. We see you. But not in the way you want to be seen. That night, I sat on my apartment couch, staring at the empty Christmas tree lights, feeling something I rarely let myself feel: tired. Tired of trying. Tired of reaching out. Tired of giving more than I ever received. But I wasn't angry. I didn't want to hurt them. I just wanted to shift something, within myself and within them. That's when I decided to step back. Not with noise. Not with complaints. Not with guilt. Just silence. Because silence is the one language everyone eventually understands. The first part of my quiet revenge began naturally. I simply stopped being the first one to reach out. For years, I was the one who called. I was the one who visited. I was the one who remembered birthdays, anniversaries, and appointments. So I stopped. Not completely. Just enough to see if they noticed. Weeks passed. Then 2 months. Then 3. Not one call. Not one check-in. Not one message more than a generic forwarded meme or a photo of a dog from my sister. At first, I told myself they were busy. People get caught up. Life happens. But deep down, I knew the truth I never wanted to say out loud. I was convenient. Not important. And convenience expires when distance appears. One afternoon in March, I received a text from my mother. "Are you okay? Haven't heard from you." I stared at the message for a long moment. 3 months. 3 full months without a word. And she said she hadn't heard from me, as if she was the one waiting. I replied simply, "I'm fine. Working a lot." She replied with a thumbs up emoji. That was our longest conversation in 90 days. My siblings were no different. Emily posted pictures of her new art studio on Instagram. Jack uploaded videos of himself trying gym challenges. Not one message asking if I wanted to see them, talk to them, or meet up. And my father? He didn't message at all. But this wasn't the conflict. Not yet. The real tension grew inside me, quietly. Not anger. But clarity. A new understanding. I had always chased them. They never chased back. So, I pulled away further. I stopped sending gifts. Stopped helping with small bills. Stopped offering rides when their cars broke down. Stopped stepping in when they needed advice. Kindness, when taken for granted, becomes invisible. I wanted them to see its absence. But here's the interesting thing about family: they notice the lack only when it inconveniences them. By midsummer, things began to shift. One Saturday morning, my father called. His voice, usually firm and stable, carried a hint of awkwardness. "Hey, haven't seen you around." "I've been busy," I said calmly. "Oh. Well, you know, your mother misses you." "Does she?" Silence from his side. He knew what I meant. But I didn't push. I just listened. "Anyway," he continued, clearing his throat, "the faucet's leaking in the bathroom. Thought maybe you could come look." Old me would have said yes instantly. New me paused. "I'm not available today," I said softly. "But I'm sure you can handle it." Another silence. A longer one. "Yeah," he finally muttered. "All right." He hung up. I sat on the edge of my bed, letting out a slow breath. Guilt tried to tap my shoulder. But I gently brushed it away. I wasn't punishing them. I was restoring balance. A month later, my sister texted. "Hey, my tablet stopped working. Do you know someone who repairs them cheaply?" I replied, "You can check local stores. They'll guide you." She responded with, "Oh, okay." No appreciation for the original tablet. No warmth. Just expectation. And each interaction taught me something. When people get used to your generosity, they think it's their right. But the real conflict, the emotional one, unfolded in autumn. My mother called me one evening. Her voice was hesitant, almost trembling. "Are you coming for Thanksgiving?" I kept my tone gentle. "I thought you all were busy." No, we'd like you here." Her pause held years of avoided emotions. Things don't feel the same without you. For a moment, I almost softened. But then I remembered Christmas morning. The silence. The unappreciated effort. The entire year of absence unnoticed. And I realized something powerful. If I returned now, nothing would change. They'd fall back into old patterns. I'd become convenient again. And they'd never learn the message my absence was teaching. So I said quietly, "I'll think about it." When I hung up, I closed my eyes and whispered to myself, "They're starting to understand." But the lesson wasn't complete yet. There was one final piece. A final moment where the truth would reveal itself, not through anger or confrontation, but through clarity. A quiet truth. Delivered gently, but remembered forever. Thanksgiving approached fast. Leaves turned brown. The air sharpened. Families across the neighborhood prepared their tables, their recipes, their traditions. Mine did too. But this time, I wasn't part of it. A week before Thanksgiving, I received a message in the family group chat, one I was rarely active in. "Dad. Everyone, Thanksgiving dinner at 6 p.m. Don't be late." The old me would have replied immediately. But I just looked at the message, then locked my phone. The next day, my sister called. "Are you coming next week?" she asked. Her voice sounded gentler than usual. "I haven't decided," I said. "Why not?" "Mom's been talking about it for days. Even Dad keeps asking if you'll show up." "I guess they could call me directly," I replied. She didn't speak for several seconds. Then she whispered, "We weren't trying to hurt you." "I know. But you did." I could hear her swallow, like she wasn't ready for that honesty. "Christmas wasn't like that on purpose," she murmured. "I know." "Then why does it feel like you're punishing us?" I answered slowly, choosing my words with calmness instead of edge. "I'm not punishing anyone, Emily. I'm just giving space for you all to realize something." "What?" she asked. "That effort goes both ways." Silence. Not the cold silence from last Christmas, but a thoughtful one. Finally she said, "We didn't realize we made you feel that way." "People rarely do," I said softly. "Until the silence starts to echo." She sighed. "I hope you come." We ended the call. For days, I debated going. Part of me missed them. Part of me wanted to sit at that table again. Part of me wanted to be included. But another part of me, the wiser part, knew I needed to finish the lesson properly. So, on Thanksgiving morning, I made my decision. I dressed neatly. I cooked a simple meal for myself. I sat alone in my quiet kitchen, letting the stillness settle around me. At 5:30 p.m., instead of driving to my parents' house, I texted our group chat. "I hope dinner is beautiful. Please enjoy the evening. I'm grateful for all of you." No explanation. No guilt. No blame. Just warmth. My phone buzzed. "Mom. You're not coming? Why? Dad. Is everything okay? Emily. Please come. It won't feel right without you. Jack. Dude, what's going on?" I replied, "I'm okay. I just need some time. But I love you all." Then I turned off my phone. I ate my quiet meal. I watched the evening sky fade into night. And for the first time in years, I felt peaceful. Sometimes walking away is not about anger. It's about clarity. And sometimes absence is the only voice that speaks loud enough for others to finally listen. The next morning, I turned my phone back on. Dozens of messages. Missed calls. A voice note from my mother, something she rarely recorded. "Honey, I'm sorry. We didn't know you felt this distant from us. We never realized how much you do. How much you give. We should have appreciated you more. We should have been there too." Her voice cracked. My mother doesn't cry easily. But the moment that struck me most was my father's message, only 3 sentences. "You're right. We haven't been fair. Let's fix this together." That was the turning point. Not their guilt. Not their apologies. Not their realization. But the fact that they reached out with sincerity, something they hadn't done in years. This was the moment I had been waiting for. But the lesson wasn't complete yet. They needed to understand the full story. And I needed to say the truth, not painfully, but truthfully. Calm. Honest. Final. 2 weeks later, I invited them to my apartment. It was the first time I had done that in nearly a year. When they arrived, the room felt full, not with people, but with emotions. My father sat stiff on the couch. My mother clutched her purse in her lap. My sister and brother lingered near the doorway as if unsure how to act. I offered them tea. We sat. And for a moment, no one spoke. Finally, my father cleared his throat. "We weren't expecting you to miss Thanksgiving." I nodded. "I know." My mother leaned forward. "We didn't know things were that bad." "They weren't bad," I said gently. "Just unbalanced." My sister whispered, "What do you mean?" I took a slow breath. 4 years, I've been trying to earn a place that should have already been mine. I kept giving and giving, thinking one day you'd all see how much I cared. But last Christmas showed me something. My mother lowered her eyes. I continued, my voice steady. When people receive too much too easily, they stop valuing it. And when they stop valuing it, they stop valuing the person behind it too. My brother raised his head. "You think we don't value you? I think you forgot how to show it." The room fell quiet. Not defensive. Not cold. But understanding. I went on. "I don't need gifts in return. I don't need praise. I don't need anything fancy. I just wanted to feel seen. Included. Appreciated." My father exhaled deeply. "We failed at that." "No," I said calmly. "We failed together. Because I didn't say anything. I kept doing things silently, hoping you'd eventually notice." "And we didn't," my mother whispered. I nodded gently. "That's why I stepped back. Not to hurt you, but to give everyone, including myself, a chance to see the truth." My father tapped his knee, a habit he had when reflecting. "You're right. We took you for granted." My mother reached out and placed her hand on mine, something she rarely did. "We're sorry, sweetheart." My sister and brother both nodded, their eyes softening. I smiled, not triumphantly, not bitterly, but peacefully. "I'm not asking for big changes," I said. "Just balance. Effort. Connection that goes both ways." My father leaned forward. "And you'll have that. From all of us." And I believed him. Not because his voice was strong, but because, for the first time in years, I saw sincerity in his eyes. We spent the rest of the evening talking, not about responsibilities or schedules, but about memories, future plans, and small things that made us laugh. It felt different. Real. Equal. And that was all I had wanted. In the weeks that followed, everything changed, but gently. My mother called more often, not to ask for favors, but just to talk. My father sent pictures of his home projects, asking for advice instead of assuming I'd show up. My sister started inviting me to her art events. My brother dropped by unexpectedly just to hang out. They started seeing me, not as a provider, not as a convenience, but as a person they cared about. Our bond strengthened, not from gifts or grand gestures or dramatic apologies, but from mutual effort. And I realized something important. Silence can break you or rebuild you. It all depends on how you use it. My silence rebuilt us. A year later, when Christmas returned, I didn't buy expensive gifts. I brought simple ones, thoughtful, warm, but not extravagant. And they brought gifts too. Not expensive ones. Not perfect ones. But meaningful ones. My father gave me a handmade wooden frame with a childhood photo of all of us. My mother baked my favorite cookies. My sister drew me a portrait. My brother bought me a small speaker, so we can listen to music when I visit. And when I opened each gift, I felt something I had wanted for years. Genuine warmth. Appreciation. Connection. Family. Not because they changed overnight, but because they understood. They listened to the message I delivered without anger. They learned the lesson I never had to shout. They recognized the value of the person they once overlooked. As the evening ended and everyone settled into soft laughter, my mother whispered, "We're grateful for you. Truly." I nodded, my chest warm with peace. That night, as I drove home through the quiet streets, I felt something even more powerful than satisfaction: clarity. The lesson had been simple, yet profound. When you give your all to people who stay silent, step back. Let them feel your absence. Let them understand your worth. And let silence do the speaking you never wanted to do out loud. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is simply teaching others how to treat you. And sometimes silence is the best revenge.